now, and we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Berea City Council meeting, Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. I'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please let the record reflect that a quorum is present. This time, I'll call on Jerry Little to lead us in the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Jerry.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I ask you here to give us counsel here tonight, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the courage to do what is in the best interest of our city, our employees, and our citizens here tonight. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you, Jerry. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve? By John Payne, second by Steve Cottle. Any discussion on the agenda or on the motion to approve? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries and the agenda is approved. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from our November 4th, 2025 meeting and also the November 12th, 2025 special call meeting. Is there a motion to approve both sets of the minutes by Katie Starkman?
Second.
Is there a second by Steve Cottle? Is there any discussion, corrections, or edits that we need to make? All right, seeing none, I request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes from both November 4th, 2025 and November 12th, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries and the minutes from both of those meetings are approved. The next item on the agenda is public comment, and I want to go ahead and read through our guidelines on public comment. Public is given the opportunity to speak at the City Council during public comment portion of the meeting. We ask that people limit their comments to 3 minutes. When recognized by the mayor, please go to either podium, state your name and address for the record. Comments should be business-oriented, and we ask for no inappropriate language or naming of any person individually during your comments. That would be by name or by title. Also, I want to make sure that I know on a couple of the items that we have, people had asked, and I'd said as long as you tie your comments to what's business-oriented, which would be anything that's on our business agenda, resolutions, et cetera, along with comments related to services provided by the City of Berea or something that you want the city to take action on, would be permitted during the public comment portion of the meeting. At this time, I'll call on Kent Gilbert to lead us off. Kent, you have the floor. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. My name's Kent Gilbert, and I'm coming from Union Church. I wanted to comment on the city's support, budgetary support for the social services, and to thank you on behalf of the many, many, many who benefit from that, particularly Food Bank. As we know, city has done a great job these last 2 weeks in the face of extraordinary need. And what happened at the previous council meeting was, in fact, not anybody's idea of best process. And I want to say that out of that, with conversations with some of you and certainly with the mayor and with players in town, some really fine things are emerging. In part, I wanted to thank you all from behalf of the churches for reaching out to us and saying there is a need. And I also want to thank you for your ongoing budgetary support of providing the building, the electrical bills. The needs are going to go up. There will be more needs coming. And we also know that as we move into the fall, housing, cold weather, all of that. So I'm really grateful for any opportunity that we can help Bereans help Bereans. I'm really looking for ways and hoping that you as council members will participate in any of those ways that you've done in the past and continue to look for new ways to do that together. The mayor and I have had conversations. I've had conversations with other community leaders, and one of the things that came out of that idea was that the city council is not always the easiest forum to ask and answer questions about those things, so let's make one. Let's have a forum. Let's have a citywide forum across there. The mayor and I have talked about that. I'm hoping you will be supportive, and I'm hoping that all of you, including clerks and city councils and all of you, will be part of such a forum where we could both educate ourselves with leaders from the social service agencies and arms of government, and have a forum where people could, in fact, state what matters, what gaps are evident, and what good ideas the City Council and other governments could undertake so that Bereans can help Bereans as we enter into uncertain times. We will have a lot of pressures on our medical system. We will have a lot of pressures on our food system. We already have extraordinary pressures on our housing systems, and those are going to get worse. So we can have a plan, we can work together, or we can fight about it and carry on. I'd rather that we had a plan and worked together, and I'm hoping that you will be willing and effective partners in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Kent. Next, we'll move to Mem Pride, and I'll note that Mem Pride serves on our Human Rights Commission and is former chair of that body. Mem, you have the floor. Welcome back.
Well, and the first point I want to make has to do with these little instruments you have here. These microphones are made to speak directly into. And as council members, when you turn to speak to each other or to the mayor, the microphone ends up over here. So, it was brought to my attention at the last meeting that for people with disabilities, and even some of us who just, don't hear so well, it's very important that you speak directly into the microphone. And they move a good bit, so even if you're turning sideways. So that's simple, folks, and cheap, and you got to turn them on, but then once you turn them on, you got to use them. The other issue that we became really aware of at the last meeting was access to this building. You have a ramp, but the doors at the top of the ramp are heavy, and you don't have any buttons. And we now have a member of the Human Rights Commission who is entirely dependent on a wheelchair. And it is not appropriate that a body this important is meeting in a space that she can't easily get in. I would also say that some of you watched me over the last 10 years, and I have good days and bad days. And even with my issues, those doors are heavy enough that they are something of a problem. That is probably an expensive fix. And you may, in fact, have been grandfathered on getting it fixed because this is an old building. But that's really not a good enough answer. So I hope you'll look for ways to make sure that all the citizens of Berea can participate fully. Thank you.
Thank you, Mem. Next person for public comment is Peggy Coyne. Peggy, if you'll come up, you have the podium there. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Peggy Coyne, Berea. I want to say that I agree with everything that everything that Kent said. Oh, the previous speaker said. But I do have a couple of issues that I want to address. One is the communication with the council. I send emails periodically when I find issues that I find of concern, and I did so last week, and I got a response from, can I say our mayor? Is that appropriate?
You're not supposed to, but I'll.
Okay, and 2 council persons. That way I don't have to identify them. That's not acceptable. Okay, if you're not getting the emails, you need to make sure you check them, and you need to respond to your constituents. If you can't do that, then you need to give up your office and let somebody else who can and will do it. Okay, because it's important that we hear from you and hear your opinions. I learned a lot from the emails that I did get back that I didn't know. So, and I do applaud the city and the council for what they are doing to help the food bank. I am also concerned about what happened at last 2 weeks ago meeting, where somebody was forcibly removed from this body because she was said not to have contained city business. No citizen in this community should be forcibly picked up and removed from any place unless they are posing imminent harm to the people around them. That's right. There are other ways to handle it. Okay, if you'd like, would any of you like me to read the email, or would you go back and please read it for me? Those that have not read it, and please respond to me. I can read it now so you can all hear it, or I'll just skip that part and move on. So I can get a yes or no head shakes. You want me to read it? No. Okay, you'll read it. Thank you. Then I appreciate that. As I said, I did get response from the mayor. It was excellent response. Oh, sorry. And he did educate me on a lot of things I didn't know on the support. Many people think that the food insecurity were caused by the government shutdown. Not so. This is a long-term problem, not a short-term problem. Now, this is where this previous council meeting speaker got in a little trouble, and hopefully you will give me the time to explain what I'm about to say and how it is, in fact, related to city business. So just give me a few minutes.
Would you step back?
Oh, okay.
That's,
Okay.
everybody here.
Everybody, feedback. Thank you, Ronnie. So please bear with me for a minute. There is part of the BBB passed by Congress will shift funding and management of services that are needed for sustaining welfare of our citizens to local, state, and county governments. That includes you. Okay? Some of the responsibilities, like Medicaid, there's
Pardon me just a second, Peggy, that we are at the 3-minute mark, but without objection, we'll have another minute just to wrap up. No objection, you have the floor, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll just go quickly. Medicare, SNAP, FEMA, disaster, federal disaster, things like that will affect, and the money is being shifted. There is a shift in our governmental entities now that are taking the responsibilities away from the federal government, putting it on the states. The most important thing I want to say to wrap up is I have an article that I have sent to every council member from the National Association of Counties, and it analyzes the impact of the BBB on local communities. I would hope that you would read it and use that as guidance to plan for the future of Berea, so that if we have a major emergency and FEMA's not there for us, we're not devastated. Thank you.
All right, the next speaker we have signed up is Stanley Kramer from Berea. Stanley, if you'll step right on up, you have the floor, and Mike should be on for you, sir. Welcome.
Good evening, Council and Mr. Mayor. I'm Stanley Kramer. I live here in Berea, cheerfully. I have a question and a position. I'm wondering if Berea City Council has signed a contract with ICE, the 287G contract, in which you would make common purpose, which law enforcement from Berea might make common purpose with ICE for the purpose of housing their prisoners and doing their bidding. Have we signed that contract with them?
I can have our city administrator get back to you on that after the meeting, if you'll get his email and let him get yours, we can head and get you an answer on that. Go ahead, sir, the floor is yours.
Yeah. In the event that you have not signed that contract, I think it would be fruitful and helpful for the council to have a conversation on the subject and decide how you might or might not receive them, and if there might be a policy that the city would have. And if you do come up with something of a policy, it's my hope that you will give the feds short shrift. My sense is the city would not be well served to be doing their bidding. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And we also have, the last person signed up is Laura Mangus from Berea. Ms. Mangus, you have the floor if you want to come on up to the mic.
Good evening, everybody. Good to
evening.
see you again. I'm Laura Mangus, and I've lived, oh, so sorry. I've lived in Berea for 54 years. First of all, I want to thank you all for posting the notice in the library for the special water meter fee meeting to pay for 911 dispatch services. Also for the donations of food the city made to the food bank to help tide over Bereans so folks wouldn't have to go hungry during these hard times. Next, I want to do a little follow-up of the October 7th City Council meeting when I left copies of the Richmond Register article about the state of healthcare in Madison County. It featured the CEO of Baptist Health, Greg Gerard's assessment of the Richmond Hospital. Did each of you have a chance to read it? Some did, some didn't. Okay. Is John Yanes, the CEO of Berea St. Joseph Hospital, here today?
Yes, he is.
I thought that might be you back there with that name tag. I have a Lexington Herald Leader of November the 11th, which lists the 35 Kentucky hospitals that are at risk of closure due to congressional Medicaid cuts. I want to distribute this to you. Look at the last page where St. Joseph Berea is on that list. Thank you.
Thank you. If you'll leave those with Sean, he'll make sure we get those, Ms. Magus. Thank you. And speaking of that, thanks to all of our speakers tonight. That concludes our public comment. And tonight we do have an update from St. Joseph Berea Hospital, which I should say is CHI St. Joseph Healthcare. Am I saying that right? I'm looking at my friend Sherry. Happy to welcome President John Yanes and also the market president, Matt Grimshaw's here as well. So I think you guys are going to work together. And I will note before John starts, you're not on the clock yet, John. So I do want to note that we meet quarterly. We sometimes meet at the hospital, sometimes at City Hall, but that's not the only time we communicate. I'm in communication with Sherry, Craig all the time, and then also with John, and if there's an emergency situation, we have each other's cell numbers. So, John, welcome back. I know we invited you to come a couple of months ago when we were able to get it scheduled and have some of your leadership team. So, the floor is yours. We'll do an update, and then we'll have some time for questions from the council. That would be limited to the council. John.
Mayor Fraley, thank you. Thank you, City Council, and thank you, Berea residents, for allowing us the opportunity to be here. 1898 was the Berea Cottage Hospital was established. And there's no doubt that Berea Hospital is very much part of the community and will continue to be part of the community. I serve as president for St. Joseph Berea, have since, it was 6 years this past September. I also serve as president for our facility in London. So I have the opportunity to work with both communities. And as the mayor mentioned, we do meet on a quarterly basis. It's a strong partnership, and I think it just builds on the partnership that really has existed throughout Berea's entire history. Berea is a small hospital, but a very powerful hospital. We are part of Common Spirit Health. Common Spirit Health is the largest faith-based not-for-profit organizations in the nation. So we are part of a system. There's a lot of synergy that comes with being part of a system. Berea also, just to give you some perspective, as far as the recognitions that Berea has received and the importance that it has within our system, patient experience consistently at Berea is in the top decile, 94, 95%, not just within Common Spirit, but nationally. It's a 5-star CMS hospital. It's been recognized as the best place to work. Clinical distinctions include U.S. News and World Report, high-performing hospital for the treatment of pneumonia. Top 20 most socially responsible hospitals recognized by Lawn Institute. We also have an accredited sleep center, and that's one of the services that we are currently expanding. It's been recognized for quality and safety. 67 top hospitals, one of 67 top hospitals overall for quality and patient experience. So there's numerous, and I can pretty much use my entire time to give you a perspective of the role that Berea has in this community. It's a small but mighty hospital. To give you some perspective of the investments that we are making and have made, 2 years ago, we installed a state-of-the-art nuclear medicine camera, which was $350,000. Congressman Barr was instrumental in getting that funding and worked with the city. We also have, last year, we installed 3D mammography. We have one of the top MRI units within our system, which was installed 5 years ago. Just recently, we completed an upgrade to the hospital's chiller system, and that makes the hospital much more efficient. It lowers our carbon footprint. That was $450,000. We also just completed, in order to improve safety within our building, another $450,000 in our sprinkler fire suppression system. We are adding that improves safety, the chillers improve efficiency, it decreases our energy use, it increases reliability. We're currently refurbishing space to accommodate more outpatient services. So it goes on and on. We, give you a perspective, we do about 16,000 visits through our emergency department. The space that we're currently in is too small. So we're looking at expanding that. Additional space, more efficient space to better accommodate. There's some patients that come to us that don't have a primary care physician in the community, and their emergency department is their physician. So we're there for them, and again, that number has continued to increase. One of the services that's unique to Berea is our swing bed program. And what that is a patient that is no longer acute level of care, but is not ready to go home, may need some additional treatment. We are the only hospital within our St. Joseph Health market that offers that service. And we not only accept patients from our own system, we get them from Baptist, we get them from UK. So that's another way that we are providing a vital service to the community. So the investment is there. Healthcare has always been changing. There's always been threats with reimbursement. And what we're trying to do is position Berea Hospital to serve future generations. And that's true not only of Berea Hospital, but of our London facility in our entire market. And Matt's going to get a little bit more into some of the impact that we foresee. But again, the investment in our hospital here at Berea to serve the community is significant and will continue. And I know Rhonda's here, and she has presented and given a perspective on the services that we're providing that some don't realize it's right here in the community. And we do need to do a better job of raising awareness of what services we are providing. But that nuclear medicine camera, we're getting patients and referrals from not just Madison County, but from outside Madison County. And the last thing I'll mention is we are having a Berea Gala this spring, and we're bringing it back, and Ron is very much part of that. So stay tuned for more information. Again, one more way that we tie with the community and we're able to give back. So Matt, did you want to come up and?
Sure, I'll take a few times. First of all, thank you to John Gaines. John has been a great asset to this community. He's been an advocate for all of you for several years. Matt Grimshaw. I am with St. Joseph in Lexington. I've been the president here for about a year, but I've been with what is now Common Spirit. This is my 16th year. Grew up in a small town, actually not much larger than Berea. Just head on I-75 north till you get to Michigan. Get off, you'll find my small town. But I've been blessed to spend most of the last 25 years in small and rural communities. Actually, Lexington is by far the largest place we've ever lived and served. And I wanted to make sure I had a chance to respond to some of the comments the media has picked up on stories. I was very dismayed when the report or the study from North Carolina gained national attention, because it's a very rudimentary analysis of hospitals across the country without even looking at market position or financial performance or community support. None of those metrics were factored in. It was a simple analysis that said, which hospitals in America have a highest percentage of Medicaid patients? That was it. And two of ours were on the list. And I could assure you, as we look across the Kentucky landscape, if our Mount Sterling Hospital and our Berea Hospital can't make it, we are looking at a catastrophic failure of healthcare in the state. Because as far as communities go with support, John highlighted our outcomes here, our quality scores, our community involvement. If we can't make it here, nobody can make it in the future of healthcare. And I will just give you my deepest word that it isn't even in our thinking that we wouldn't be here. It is rooted in who we are as Catholic healthcare, as faith-based healthcare, that our mission compels us to serve. The sisters, our foundresses, who led the first hospital in Lexington, who are still involved in our ministry, that is our why, that is our calling, that is our purpose. And as we look at communities across the state, we do believe there will be challenges. As we look at Eastern Kentucky, the demographics of Eastern Kentucky are problematic. Regardless of the healthcare system, the economic growth is not there, the aging, the access to services. We are very concerned about the population east of I-75 and south of 64. It is a large quadrant of the state, and you go to West Virginia, it's the same story. Go to Western Virginia, all of Appalachia is facing major headwinds for healthcare. However, we are very well positioned. So as those things change, we want to be positioned to take care of those patients here, which is why if you look at where we are investing, as John highlighted things here, the physicians we are recruiting, we're looking to bring more services to Berea, more services to London, more services to Mount Sterling, because we believe those interstate corridors are where patients are going to have to go for health care. And we want to be there to serve this community and beyond for years to come. We thank you for your support. Met the mayor in the past. We love the work we do here. We love our relationship with the college, how our missions align. We thank you all, council members, for serving, for your leadership in very intriguing times, and happy to answer any questions you may have, as is John as well.
Sounds good. Questions for John or Matt from the council? This would be limited to council members. Teresa?
Just comment, thank you so much for all you do for the community, and thank you for your reassurance. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You know, Matt, one thing that just occurred to me is the grants that we have paid out to the community. Just recently, Berea Home Village, which we house at our hospital, it's a not-for-profit, along with two other not-for-profits that we rent space for $1 a year. They're a not-for-profit, received $10,000 from the Lloyd Dean Foundation, which is part of Common Spirit. Last year, we also had a couple of community grants that we paid out here, one for food sustainability, and I can't remember the hospice was the other one. So again, just one more way that the hospital gives back to the community, and just builds those ties with who Berea is. I have worked and lived, my wife and I raised 3 kids in small communities, and I'm not saying that because I'm in Berea. Honestly, the level of support and how intertwined the community is in a positive way here at Berea really is exemplary. I haven't seen it, and I've lived in small communities in Ohio, Alabama, and Florida, and by far, Berea really stands out in my experience.
John, if you could, and I'll turn it over. I know we got a couple of council questions. Talk just a little bit about the foundation and how that helps people that aren't able to afford health care and serves the community, because I know that we have people here that care about the community, they care about the people who may not have adequate health care, and that they may be in a position where they can donate to the foundation that in turn can help the citizens that we're talking about. Could you?
Mayor Fairley, thank you, because that reminded me that Lights for Life is coming up this month, and actually the campaign is ongoing. That is a way to donate, and it flows through our foundation, and individuals that cannot pay for, especially for healthcare needs, mammographies, diagnostic testing. Lights for Life has created a fund that folks that are not able to pay are able to tap into that fund.
And I would just ask our council members, everybody that's here, anybody that's concerned about the healthcare system, that one way you can help is to donate to that foundation.
Absolutely.
It impacts people right here in Berea. So if you want to make a difference, that's a good way to do it.
I should have brought brochures.
Rhonda will be back because you all will remember Rhonda Anglin McMaster's here. So if you've never had your blood pressure taken by Rhonda, you probably didn't go to the Spoonbread Festival.
Yeah.
She's there every year, but she'll come back with community health, some information on that for us, and we'll get you to bring back some information on the foundation as well and how people can donate to that to help our neighbors helping neighbors.
Can we put a link on your website? Is
You
that-
sure can. I'd be
Okay.
more than happy to do that if
Thank
you'll
you.
email me.
Yeah.
Questions from council members? Katie, I think you had one? Yes, go right ahead.
This week is my 25-year reunion for Berea College as a graduate, so it's been a minute since I've been to Student Health Services. So do Berea College Student Health Services still make use of the facility, or are there any additional relationships between Berea College and St. Joseph Berea that we should know about?
Yes, thank you for asking. We currently have 8 that I'm aware of that are Berea students that are working at a Berea hospital. And we are in discussions with the nursing program, not just nursing, but other ancillary services perhaps that we can work with Berea College on.
I'm sorry, is Student Health Services still located in Berea Hospital?
Yes, well, the White House Clinic occupies space in our medical office building, which is the building in the front. Yep, thank you.
And we talked about changes over the years and challenges. I'll note that, I'm telling on my age a little bit, but Mr. Gilbert, some of us have been around for a long time, Cora Jane, and my classmate Jamie, that I haven't seen in a while, we'll remember that was Berea College Hospital long ago when we were young, right? So we're looking forward to growing with you, and I will say that John and I are actually working on a potential funding source to help expand the emergency department at
Yes.
St. Joseph Berea. So we will continue to partner together and look for ways that we can help each other, because that's what we do. And I wrote down just a couple of things that I want to say, and that is that St. Joseph Berea is part of a great network of care that I think we have in our community. And it's not just health care, it's care for our own people, something that we were talking about earlier tonight. And also that network of care that we have here that makes Berea such a special place that you all are involved in is what really improves the quality of life for all of our citizens, and you're certainly a part of that.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you being here and being willing to come. I know we talked about this, I guess it was October, I thought it was September, but to try to get you on the agenda to do an update, and we will have Rhonda back with some statistics about our community health, and I know my blood pressure was probably a little high, so. Any other questions, Steve? Steve, and then we'll go to Steve. Steve.
Several years ago, I was part of a countywide community kind of look at the healthcare services that we have in our county. And one of the things at the time, and I think still is true, is that there was a real lack of mental health. Is there any plan at the hospital to expand into any psychiatric services or additional mental health? I think you do have them at obviously other locations. I didn't know if that was something that was kind of ever on the horizon for Berea.
Currently existing, we do have telehealth that patients that present through the emergency department, we're able to diagnose and refer primarily to the Lexington or Louisville facilities. So we currently do not have anything in-house, and I don't know if there's any work.
Now, so as John mentioned, the telehealth really is the future of small-town psychiatric services, and we are blessed that we do have a network that we can offer in all of our ERs. If a patient comes in and needs a psych evaluation, we get that real time. A lot of places don't have that, and we do have a seamless transfer protocol where they can get in. The question is really, as we talk about community needs, it's really not the acute in my mind. It's the ongoing care, and how do we identify partners for counselors or other things that might not be psychiatrists, but how do we address the other challenges that lead to behavioral health crises, whether it's housing, food insecurity, all the things that were just talked about earlier, those community needs, and then how can we resource that together? No one wants to pay for it, right? And how do we, and it's hard to get some patients in, but be happy to look at that. We just completed our community health needs assessment. It continues to remain a top priority in all of our communities.
Speaking of community health assessment, that's an annual
2
event?
years.
Every
3 years.
Every three,
3
because
years.
I know I did that, so that would be 3 years from now, and that's another way for citizens to give feedback, correct?
Yes, there is a focus survey process.
Good. Other questions for John and Matt? Steve, I forgot, Steve.
Appreciate y'all being here. If I'm just an accountant, so I'm a dollars and cents kind of guy. The reality of the Medicaid potential cuts that are 28 through 32, they're real. And you're looking ahead, basically. I'm hearing that we're in good financial position. We're looking at expanding services, which will increase our market share. So that's your answer to potential cuts coming up. Because you have to look at it. It's
And-
there.
And payer mix.
Yeah, let me give some,
Yeah, and
I'll
payer-
give you some actual stats on this, okay? So here's some real numbers, okay? We're about a $1.2 billion organization in the state of Kentucky, okay? Our exposure through the Big Beautiful Bill and the Medicaid changes is about $75 million a year. That is our delta between, because what a lot of folks don't understand is what's changing in Medicaid is Medicaid should not regress back to old Medicaid. What the bill did was it sets Medicare as the Medicaid equivalent now. So we're really moving closer to a single payer mindset at Medicare rates. At Medicare rates, we are still viable, okay? The reduction in reimbursement reduces our operating cash flow, but it does not take us to negative. There are many organizations in the state of Kentucky that is not the case, okay? I have had conversations with several others who they honestly can't say that, okay? And you also, it's in nuance of how healthcare reimbursement works. Here in Berea, we are a critical access hospital. So we are reimbursed differently for Medicare services than Richmond. Their exposure is higher than ours in real terms because they don't have the safety net of critical access reimbursement. So again, yes, it is a cut. Yes, it's real. Yes, it will impact our ability to make some investments, but we are doing everything we can now to prepare our ministry and our organization for that 5 years from now reality. So that's why we're talking about things like expanding our ER, because our ER provides great care. Our not just staff, but real word of mouth, day in, day out, we provide excellent care in that emergency department. And we know we can care for more people in that current ER with the team we have with a few more rooms. And there's space right next to it that we can steal and make a larger, more efficient ER because we honestly believe we'll be caring for more people east and west of the interstate as this goes forward. So you're exactly right. It is shifting market share, adding services where we are positioned. If I were designing a health system, which I didn't have to design this, but my friends years ago did, we are where you'd want to be. We used to have a hospital far out in eastern Kentucky. St. Joe Martin was one of our hospitals. That's now part of ARH. I do worry, be very honest, I worry about ARH. And Holly's a friend of mine. We serve on the KHA board together. AHA is concerned about how the healthcare funding, KHA is concerned, but in the state of Kentucky, ARH has the most exposure. And we're a good partner of theirs, but they don't have the luxury of being where we are. And we do have conversations. What does that mean for patients that we share together?
Thank you very much.
Great question.
That's exactly what the public needs to
right.
know for our area.
Correct.
Thank you.
And we've taken a lot of time. Just thank you guys. Appreciate the chance that we have to serve. We appreciate the support this community gives to our hospital. We're chosen every day by a very high percentage of this community. And we are bullish on Madison County. As we look at the housing crisis really that is Fayette County, it is coming this direction. And if we look at the south end of Richmond, housing is coming in that direction. But for those who actually want small town quality of life, we believe Berea is very well positioned for a different lifestyle in an actual bedroom community. If you can figure out how to secure the resources, I know you're working on this, but for entry-level housing, there are a lot of people who are wanting to work in Greater Lexington who simply cannot afford to live there. The development costs are too high, the land costs are too high, the construction costs are too high. You're in a position here to meet a need, and it benefits us selfishly in London and in Lexington because you're right in the middle, and you are a great place for a hometown living. So thank you all. God bless, and appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you both. Appreciate you being here. And Sherry and Rhonda, thank you too for coming. You're always there when we need you. Thank you very much. All right, good discussion. Thank you all for the questions. Very good. Next, we'll move forward to resolution number 18-2025, TAP Program Grant for Scaffold Cane Shared Use Path. Mr. Gilbert.
Whereas providing quality outdoor recreation and wellness facilities for citizens and visitors is of paramount importance to the government of the City of Berea, Kentucky. And whereas the City of Berea strives to provide safe and efficient routes and facilities for alternative methods of transportation in order to limit vehicle traffic and environmental impact. And whereas the City of Berea has prioritized the development of the Scaffold Cane Trail, a shared youth path connecting Berea's downtown area and college campus to the residents and public parks immediately to the south for the purpose of both recreation and pedestrian travel. And whereas the Federal Aid Highway Program state-administered funding was awarded in the amount of $842,575, and whereas the amount will be authorized in phases as federal requirements are met for the Scaffold Cane Trail Shared Youth Path Project. Now therefore, be it resolved that, 1, that the City of Berea does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in that certain agreement between the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Transportation Cabinet, and the City of Berea for the Scaffold Cane Trail Shared Youth Path Project, authorizing to date $16,000, a copy of which is attached hereto, and does hereby accept the funds provided in said agreement, and by such acceptance agrees to all terms and conditions therein stated. 2, that the Finance Director of the City of Berea, Kentucky is hereby authorized, directed, and empowered to execute the agreement and all other necessary documents or agreements. 3, the City of Berea agrees to and does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in the agreement. 4, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Is there a motion to approve and adopt resolution number 18-2025 by Steve Cottle with a second by Cora Jane Wilson? Any discussion on the motion to approve and adopt the resolution?
Mayor, does that put us any closer to reality?
Yes, I'll recognize City Administrator Sean Sandlin, who's ready to get going.
Yeah, what this does is it allows us to acquire the property, our attorney fees and those kind of things, and it just gets us moving forward. It does.
And I'll add that on these federal programs, we can only have one at a time. That's why we got to work through the ones, and we do have the Trailhead restroom first, Sean, is that right?
I think that's RTP. There might be some tap in that also, but Ellipse Street is tap.
So we
So
can move forward with it after, now that the ellipse is done for the federal funding. Good. Thank you, Sean. Good question, Steve. Any other discussion on the motion to approve and adopt resolution number 18-2025? Ronnie?
Is this the one that we've been waiting on for years?
Yeah, there was a traffic study before my time, Ronnie, is when all this started, and we're going to get it done.
Well, so we finally are getting the money to do that.
Right. There's a lot of actions that had to be taken up to this point, but we're ready to go.
So that means that starting next year, we may be doing the work.
I don't know on the timing. I would say as soon as possible.
Well, that's what
Work
we've been
won't settle.
saying for 10 years on that. And one thing about it, government is slow.
Further discussion on the motion to approve and adopt resolution number 18-2025. Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The motion carries and the resolution is approved. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 14-2025, revising Public Works Crew Superintendent pay grade, and this is the first reading. Mr. Gilbert.
Whereas in ordinance number 04-2025, the authorized positions, assigned pay grade, and pay scale were amended and adopted on April the 1st, 2025. And whereas the pay and the grade and pay scale was amended by ordinance number 09-2025, And whereas, based on the recommendation of the city administrator, the city council deems it necessary to revise the pay grade of the position of crew superintendent, Public Works, from Public Works grade 8 to Public Works grade 9. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Berea, Kentucky, Commonwealth of Kentucky, as follows. 1, that the position of crew superintendent, Public Works, is revised from Public Works grade 8 to Public Works grade 9, and the personnel policies of the city of Berea are hereby amended accordingly. 2, that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed. This ordinance shall be published according to law.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert, and this is the first reading with the second reading scheduled for our first meeting in December. But per past practice, we'll open the floor for any discussion on the first reading of the ordinance. Teresa, we'll go to Teresa and then to Jerry. Teresa, you're first.
Are we still at 2 crew chiefs, or do we only have 1 at this point?
There is 3 crew leaders and 1 crew superintendent. So this position is related to Mr. Davison that left us several months ago, or maybe even years at this point. This position was never filled. So what we found when we went to fill this position is all of the number 2s in the organizational charts with all departments is ranked and their pay grade directly under the director.
Okay.
So on this situation, it was 2 grades below. So we just needed to bring them up to be consistent throughout our pay scale.
But it will affect 3 employees as
No,
of now?
this will
Just 1? Okay.
one employee.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Forgot where I was. I think I was
Jerry,
Teresa
you
and then Jerry.
Go ahead,
and then
go ahead,
Katie.
I'm waiting. Ain't no
Go ahead,
problem.
go ahead, Jerry. I was listening to the
So
answer there.
you're doing away with the number 8 then, is that correct? Pay grade 8? Pay grade 8 was the crew superintendent.
Yes, so they will be moving from crew superintendent in pay grade 8 to crew superintendent pay grade 9, or, 9.
Well, 9 is a shop superintendent, so
They're the same,
So they'll be the same then.
the same.
So there won't be no more 8?
Not in the Public Works Department. Other departments
I
have,
understand, but I'm talking about, Public Works.
yeah, Public Works, no.
Okay, so you're just moving the crew superintendent from 8 to 9.
Correct.
All right, thanks.
Now I think I'm back to Katie.
Thank you. So just to clarify, did you say this position hasn't been filled since Mr. Davidson had the role? Or was the leader?
Correct. We had allowed 2 crew supervisors to work coherently. 1 week, that one would work in this position. Next 2 weeks, the other one would work in this position to give them opportunity to grow and see how that went. So at this point, we're just ready to make that decision.
Is this indicating, changing this, that we will be refilling this position, is what you're saying?
It's already filled.
Oh, it's already
It
filled.
will be filled as soon as you all approve this
Okay,
pay
yeah.
grade.
So, okay.
I may be able to offer a little clarification on that. Donnie eventually became
Right.
the, whatever,
Correct.
the head of, so that
Right.
just left his position.
There was just that vacancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Teresa. Other questions or comments related to the first reading of the ordinance? All right, seeing none, thank you all. Good discussion. Thank you, Sean, for your answers. We'll move next to the first reading of ordinance number 15-2025, 2025 surplus. Mr. Gilbert.
The City Council of the City of Berea, Kentucky does hereby ordain as follows. 1, the property set out on the attached list marked as Exhibit A, acquired for the use by the city, is hereby declared to be surplus because it is no longer suitable for use by the city, so that it is in the public interest to dispense of such equipment, and the mayor or his designee is authorized to dispose of said surplus by sale according to law after due advertisement. 2, all ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. This ordinance shall be effective upon publication.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gilbert, and that is the first reading of ordinance number 15-2025 with the second reading scheduled for our first meeting in December. But we'll also open the floor up for this one for any discussion or questions. Steve?
I just had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Being new to the council, do we do this every year on surplus? Do we evaluate equipment every year? Is it every couple of years, or is there a process for that, or is it just whenever we decide it's necessary?
It's just whenever we have enough that we can go ahead and put a sale on, because we use gov deals to do that. So you don't do it until you got 8, 10, 12 items that you feel like you can get sold and get them moved on and recover the funds, taxpayer funds, and move on.
Does that money go in general fund?
Yes. Yes. Other questions, Jerry?
Where's the list at on this?
It should be on here, Jerry. Here you go.
It's where? Oh, okay, it's on it.
Here you go. I'll give you mine. This is exhibit.
I've got you. Exhibit A, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's fine, thanks, that's all I have.
That all you need, Jerry? Good? Good, okay. Other comments, Ronnie?
The scrap metal that we had down there, it don't have to go through the process we do on surplus stuff, because
I don't know the answer to that. Sean, do you know?
It does not. Once we get enough scrap metal, we take that off to, yeah.
and where does the money for the scrap metal?
It goes into general fund.
Okay, and we'll see a thing in there that,
You'll see a revenue, yeah,
okay,
in the budget.
because I think they just hauled load off last week.
Jerry?
No, I'm
Good. Any other comments on the first reading of ordinance number 15-2025? All right, thank you all. Y'all probably got excited with that surplus instead of surplus equipment, right? That changes the meaning when you add the word equipment at the end. All right, moving forward, we'll ask the department head reports. If any department heads would like to address the council? No volunteers? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward to the city administrator's report, and I'll recognize City Administrator Sean Samlin. Sean, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Just wanted to, we had the grand opening last week of the pickleball courts, and I seen a few comments that was on the Facebook pages and those kind of things. Just want to clarify that the lighting is in place. However, the sign is not done at this point. So we're waiting to get the sign in place so that we can attach the electrical panels to the signs for usage. So we got just a little bit more to go, but we want to make sure we get those courts open in the weather that we have coming before us that it's going to pose a little problem. So we want our residents to be able to utilize that as much as possible before then. Also on our Lip Street project, we've done that punch list. Allen Company came this past weekend and fixed a couple of those issues that we had on the punch list. So that project will also be wrapping up within the next week or so. And it looks like it's been done the whole time. However, there's little things that, you run into that needed attention. So we've got that taken care of at this point. So that'll be completed. The pool also will be completed within the next week or two. We also have been working on punch list items with that. Tomorrow is our final punch list meeting with that, so we'll see how everything went tomorrow. And so a lot of projects is wrapping up, and a lot of good stuff still to come. So I've taken any questions you might have.
Thank you. Questions for Sean? I'll start with John Payne and come back to Jerry Little. John?
We've noticed some sidewalks have been repaired through town. Do you know how long that project is going to be going on, or has that completed?
As long as weather permits, we will continue to work on sidewalks at this point. We do have a lot of leaves and brush that we're working with. Our Public Works is also hanging Christmas lights through town, so they're very busy at this point, but we have identified a few locations. As long as weather permits, we'll still continue to work on those too.
Thank you.
Jerry?
Hey, Sean, I noticed Barash Road there where they put the lips, the shared use path. There's a bunch of new pipe laying there, and it's been there. Is it ours or?
Yeah, we're working with Allen Company at this point. There was some yard inlets that was part of the contract, and those yard inlets would have, that pipe would have been utilized in the yard inlets. However, the lay of the land and what's under the ground didn't allow for that to work. We felt like the drainage was taken care of by grading versus having those boxes. So we're going to ask KYTC if we can retain that pipe or if that has to go back to the vendor. But however, at this point, it's ours, and we'll be getting that moved soon.
Comment, the drainage is 100% better than it was. It's pretty good. It's the drainage is okay, looks like.
Yeah, good.
Big improvement. wasn't
Looks good.
Yeah, I didn't go through there today, but I was
It looks
wanting
pretty
to.
good.
Other comments or questions for Sean? All right, Sean, thank you. Good report. I wasn't going to say this, but speaking of pickleball, I do want to make one comment. When we had the ribbon cutting, we had several council members there, and when we were all sitting talking, kind of waiting to do the ribbon cutting, I made the comment that it felt more like a family reunion than, and it really was, because it was people from all walks of life, and everybody was happy. Everybody was catching up, and I think this was something that was long overdue. And I also complimented Sean and Brian Reed, who was the project manager out of our codes and planning department, for getting that project over the finish line as quickly as we did. That's probably a record for getting something done, but there was no grant funding involved with that one, so we weren't waiting on anyone else. But again, it was a good event. If you haven't been down there to see it, I would encourage you to go. Check it out. Nice facility. Thank you, Sean. Good report. Mayor's comments, in addition to the pickleball, I do want to talk a little bit about the food drive. That's still going on. And one of the reasons we did that is I want to credit John Payne and also Tony Crecciolo from the Berea Food Bank, and also Karen Linville from Berea Baptist Church, which their organization is God's Provision Food Bank. We had a meeting a little more than a week ago, I guess, John, just where there was they were having more demand for food than they'd had in a while because of the shutdown. And one of the stopgaps was maybe to look at doing a food drive, where normally the food bank and the Berea Food Bank really doesn't do food drives. But just to make sure that they were able to distribute to people. And it was very simple. It's set up in the back entrance of City Hall. Sean talked with Susan Hilton, for our finance director that's kind of coordinating for Berea. Tony and his volunteers from Berea Food Bank, and also Karen Linville and some of the folks that help her at God's Provision Food Bank are kind of coordinating that and picking up the items on pretty much a daily basis. And I know a few people in the room that have made donations, and if you haven't and you want to help, that's a good way to help. But there is a need there where there was an unusually high demand over the last few weeks, and probably that's going to continue for at least a little while longer. So again, a good collaboration, and thanks to our Susan and Sean for helping, and also for John for arranging a meeting with Tony and getting with Karen and making sure we had all this lined out. The last thing I want to do, speaking of John, is one of the things that we really place a high value on is our training through the Kentucky League of Cities. And our staff is very well trained. I'll call that Amanda Haney, since she's not here. Her department, it seems like they're getting a training certificate every couple of weeks. But this is also open to our public officials. I know Robin is a master municipal clerk, for example, where she's done training through KLC that's pretty rigorous and time-consuming. But we do, I was asked to issue a training certificate. This is the Level 2 Training Excellence in City Government, which was earned by our council member, John Payne. So, John, if you would come up and accept the training certificate. And they also have a handsome gift for you. I don't know what's in there, but I think I might be able to guess. And Andy, if you want to do a photo, accept that. We'll send this to the league and make sure they see that you got it. I want documentation. There you go. Thank you, Andy. Congratulations, John. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well earned. That concludes my comments, and we'll next move to council comments and begin with Cora Jane Wilson. Cora Jane, you have the floor.
I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and come back. It means a lot for you all to be here.
Thank you, Cora Jane. Next, we'll move to Ronnie Terrell. Ronnie, you have the floor.
I want to thank Bruce and Sean, because I've never seen anything with the city go in as fast as that pickleball field did. And you would think there may be an election coming up soon, but it was fast. And I was at the dentist office today, and I told them that we had pickleball, and they said, "Where at?" And I said, "Behind the building down there." So the word needs to get out, because it will draw people, and especially tourism ought to advertise that we do have a pickle court because people will come. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Ronnie. Next, we'll move to Steve Davis. Steve.
Congratulations to John. I sound like a broken record every time that I appreciate the public that comes out. I like hearing from you. Appreciate those that spoke. I appreciate the things you all send us. I do read them, some of which I've already read because they affect my clients, being an accountant, which are mostly Berea citizens. So they affect you too, and I do read them, and it is important. I appreciate the dialogue, and you're the reason we're here. So we'll keep at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next, we'll move to John Payne. John, you have the floor.
Want to thank everyone for coming out, and thank you for sharing information, sending us information. Did manage to print off the article that you sent me. I've not read it yet, but I will. I was also happy to see the pickleball court open. I broke down and bought my first racket set and pickleball balls, so I'll be trying that out with whoever I can convince to play with me soon. I challenged Ronnie last week. He hasn't agreed. We are having a Parks meeting next Tuesday at 5:30. So I want to make sure everyone's aware of that. And I want to thank the mayor for working with myself and the food banks to work out this food drive. It's not everything that they need, but I'm hoping it will help. If you go to Berea Food Bank under support, there is an opportunity to give directly. You can give over PayPal, or they accept donations at the food bank. Cash is king, and they can do a lot with a little money. Wish everyone a great holiday season coming up, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, we'll move to Katie Startzman. Katie, you have the floor.
Thank you. Oh, well, I thought what you were going to say when you're talking about the pickleball grand opening is that I was thinking it would be a good team building activity for the council to do a pickleball,
We could do that.
tournament or something. I don't know. I'm really grateful to the people who came and shared public comment. Thank you for joining us and adding your comments and questions and concerns. And I also appreciate getting things over email because it gives us more time to digest as well. So I welcome that. I do want to acknowledge that there are some of us having additional conversations about ways we can continue to support the organizations that are providing food security. It's frustratingly slow, but I don't want you to think that we're like, well, shutdown's over, we don't have any problems anymore, because I think all of us are aware that these are longer term issues, but also learning the kind of, I've had to learn over the last 6 years being a council member, the slowness and gaining the maturity and understanding how, if we want to really affect change, we have to have conversations with lots of stakeholders, really educate ourselves about what's going on, educate ourselves about what we can do to impact that. And I don't want to sound like I'm stalling or anything, but just know that I think there are many of us, or if not all of us in this body, who take these concerns really seriously. Now I lost my train of thought. But I'm grateful for the public comment. Oh, I know this is super fluffy compared to food insecurity. But when you all leave the meeting tonight, drive down through Old Town. The lights look beautiful, and I noticed that going up in the last week or something. But it's so pretty, and it's such a. I find it kind of depressing that it gets dark so early. But bringing that light to the darkness is really meaningful, and I'm just excited about how that's going to continue to evolve as we celebrate the season and make our town more beautiful. So kudos to the tourism department for managing that. And again, welcome. Input from folks. My cell phone is 859-302-1463 if anybody wants to text me directly. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Next, we'll move to Teresa Centers. Teresa, you have the floor.
It is good to see such a number of you out this evening. We appreciate your being here. And they have left the building, but the information from the group from St. Joseph Berea was excellent, and I so appreciated hearing from all of them. And Ronnie may be right about the fastest thing being the pickleball court, but if memory serves, I think it's because when the city does something on their own without grants and other things, y'all go to work. Because if I remember right, Tilly Park was, very fast. So anyway, we've got those things that we can get done from time to time, and it is beginning to look a lot like Christmas out there. And I'm excited to see, obviously, what tourism is doing. They're doing a great job, but also on campus, I'm seeing lights and decorations go up, and at businesses, that's important. And so out front at City Hall, it's beautiful. So our Public Works Department too. So it's just, when we work together, we can get so much done. You all have a good Thanksgiving.
Before I move to Jerry, if y'all would indulge me for one moment, the other thing I kind of forgot about, we won't have another meeting between now and Small Business Saturday, Shop Small Saturday. So again, I would encourage all of you to encourage your constituents and everybody here to try to shop small for Christmas, and that kicks off the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I know you have Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, right? So try to support our local businesses and come out to the Mayor's Merry Mingling on that Saturday as well. So again, thank you for that reminder, Teresa. Next, we'll move to Jerry Little. Jerry, you have the floor.
Teresa just didn't hit on something. If people work together and tries to be courteous to each other, and we don't all agree on the same things, but be respectful and say what, feel free to come and speak on your concerns. And, there's some people like you need to be heard. And, but just working together and being humble is very important for our city. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jerry. And for the last word, Steve Cottle. Steve, you have the floor.
You guys have pretty much covered it all at this point. And then when the mayor interjects, you really start running out of things. But I will say, this was already mentioned with St. Joe Berea Hospital update. But I will say this, and I appreciate the mayor inviting community partners to our meetings. I think we really started that the last several years. But I feel like we as a council and as a community get so much more when we have the college come, we have the county schools, we have the Berea Community Schools, we have Berea College president come and speak. Those updates have been such a great segue for us to really start to collaborate as much as possible. I feel like over the last 6 years, we've had more communication, collaboration with the major stakeholders in our community, like the college, like the school systems, and we've been able to accomplish a lot of things and work through things that people used to just sit around and whisper about whether or not it was possible. And I think that those conversations that we have that start here, and you get to meet people and have those relationships. So I appreciate that, and I hope that we continue. I think we should be coming up on a Berea College update at some point soon. But I really think that that's beneficial for the work that we do. And this has been mentioned somewhat too, but I will say, if you want to get things done, right? If you want to get things accomplished with this group of people, the best thing to do is have conversations. Coming in here, I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this, public comments are not a Q&A. We don't respond, and that's by design. And that's by design because public comment has gotten very sterilized over the past several years for reasons that we have explained ad nauseum in the last meeting. But all of our contacts, all of our phone numbers, all of our stuff is out there on the city website. If you have a concern, pick up the phone and call us. I can promise you that there's not a person on this body who doesn't care deeply about the people of this city. Now, maybe the way that we accomplish that looks different. Maybe the way that I think that we should accomplish things looks different than the way Teresa thinks that we should, or John, or Steve, or whoever. But the reality is that if you take the time to call, to text, to reach out and say those things, And after something's gone nuclear, it's very hard. It makes it very difficult because we all want to solve the problems of this city, and the best way for us to do that is in a way that is at a low heat level, coming in and making it into. I appreciate all the comments tonight because I thought that there was a chance that this might get a little bit escalated again. And the comments were pointed, and they were about the city government, and they were about the work that we do. And I appreciate the fact that everybody followed that. So all that being said, reach out to your council members. We're happy to talk. And I think that's the most effective way to get things accomplished. Also, it's been mentioned, Thanksgiving's coming up. Look out for your neighbors. Don't forget about donating to the food bank. Also, don't forget about seeing what schools may need. Kids, over breaks often need, there's backpack programs and things like that, but it's a difficult time for a lot of people. So just look out for your neighbors and think about ways that you can give back. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. You got a motion, and I see a second by Teresa Centers. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say no. The meeting is adjourned.